My friend, it is Adrian here with you live today, and I'm really excited about sharing this with you. This is something that I have been thinking about for a while. I love sharing on this topic because I think it's so important and so powerful. So, if you're watching with me live right now, please make sure you say hello. I'd love to greet you and interact with you, and just thank you for spending some time with me. I really, really appreciate it. So, here's what I want to talk about today. I am a student of Silicon Valley, right? We're building contact mapping. It's a software company. It's actually so much more than a software company, but software is a big part of what we do here. And so I pay a lot of attention to Silicon Valley and the success stories that come out of that and the things that we can learn from that. And there's a part of Silicon Valley, there's a group within Silicon Valley that is probably considered to be the number one investor in the world when it comes to early stage startups. It's called Y Combinator, and they do a what's called an accelerator. They bring together young companies and they mentor them and help them to grow. And they are the company that's behind investors in companies like Stripe and Dropbox and Airbnb and just all kinds of huge runaway success billion-dollar companies. And the one of the people who started that, one of the guys behind that, is somebody named Paul Graham. And I would say Paul is considered maybe the leading thinker, one of the leading thinkers on how to create successful companies from scratch. He's just an amazing guy. And so Paul talks about how to build successful companies. And one of the things that he talks about is this idea that in order to grow, in order to go and build a multi-billion-dollar company with millions of customers like Dropbox, like Airbnb, like Stripe, like a million, not a million, like 100 companies that you would know that are household names that are phenomenally successful and that have a zillion customers. He said, if you want to create a company that can go and have a zillion customers, what should you do at the beginning? You should do things that don't scale. Do things that don't scale, which is like the opposite of what you would think, right? You would think that the advice would be go and build something that, build the foundation that will support millions of customers from the beginning because you're going to regret it later if you don't do that. But that's not what he says. He says go and do things that don't scale. And I really believe in that advice. I've actually really taken that advice to heart as we have built contact mapping. But what was really interesting is that this came up today in something else that I'm working on for all of you that I'm really excited about. Hey, Lucian, good to see you, man. So this came up with somebody else that I was learning from today, and it just was this big light bulb moment for me. And so I want to share it with you. So we've been going through something called a community design masterclass. We have invested as contact mapping as an entire team in a masterclass on how to create the best possible network of like-minded people who are creating results together through the power of our networks. And we are going to be rolling that out. It's a part of our premium subscription. We're rolling that out next week. It's going to be unbelievable. But we have spent 5 weeks with homework and going together in these courses. And today was the bow tie of this course that we have been a part of, where we put a bow on it, not the bow tie, tying the bow on this beautiful gift that we have been preparing for all of you. And so Gina Bianchini, who's the CEO of this company, Mighty Networks, that put on this master class that we have been taking, she was talking about how do you go and build a successful community? How do we do that as contact mapping? How do you do that for your business? How do you go and create something that is going to be big and powerful in the world? And she came back to this same quote. And here was the thing that she said to me that really drove it home. Whether you're in network marketing, whether you're in real estate, whether you are trying to build a software company, wherever you are in your career, whatever you do, she said that same thing. She talked about do things that don't scale. And she said that the place to start when you are building your community or building anything else is you start with your network. And when I'm saying network, I don't mean social network. That was a direct quote from what she said. And it was like, you're so right. But she went on to say something that, again, this is just blowing me away. She said that essentially social media gives us this illusion of reach, right? I can go on Facebook and go, I have 2,500 friends, I have 5,000 friends, I have, 10,000 followers on Instagram. There's a million people active on Instagram every day. If I could just reach a fraction of those people, I'm going to have this massive reach. And so the temptation when we're building something at the beginning is we think that social media is the place to go because we're going to have all this reach. But here's the problem. Think about the most successful post you have ever done on social media. I bet it had 100 likes. I bet it had like 100 comments, in the hundreds at best. If you're an influencer, you're talking 100 likes and 100 something comments ish. Like, it's not a big number. So you have to realize that, yeah, you might have 3,000 friends on Facebook. Yeah, you might have 5,000 connections on LinkedIn, but your actual reach in those platforms, because those platforms really are all about pay to play, they're about you giving them money to reach your users. If you're not paying Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter money out of your pocket to reach those people, you're going to reach at best about 1% of your connections on that platform. And they're going to see that as one of a million things that they're scrolling through in their feed. So your conversion rate on those 3,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 people is going to be well less than 1%. So now let's compare that to what did she advise us to do? She said, go and reach out to your network. So you go and reach out to your network. And she said, okay, if you can get somebody on the phone with you, your likelihood of converting them to a member of your community is about 30%. So 30%, less than 1%, right? 30% over here, less than 1% over here. Touching into your network and using your network to help you to generate new introductions and new nominations is what she called it, which I love that word. She said, talk to your network, and even if your network is not your ideal customer, talk to your network and say, this is what I'm doing. Can you nominate some people that you know that would love to be a part of what I'm doing? Would you be willing to make an introduction there? People will be happy to do that for you. That is a extremely high value activity. And no, you can't get to 1 million users that way, but you can get to 100 raving fans that way. And that 100 raving fans, that is the best way to get to the 100 raving fans. That 100 raving fans turns into 1,000, which turns into 10,000, which turns into 100,000, which turns into 1 million. But your fastest path to that 100 is not spray and pray on social media. It is getting on the phone. It is tapping into the power of your network. That is where the magic happens. And, even email, right? Email is a great medium. I love email. I think email is extremely powerful, but email is like 5 to 7%. So less than 1% social media, a little bit better, 5-7% email, and you got to really stay in front of people and keep their list warm. You get somebody on the phone, you get somebody talking to you, and it goes to 30%. I don't care how little time you think you have for being on the phone. If that's the conversion rate, isn't it worth it? Isn't it worth it to get in front of people on a Zoom, on a phone call, voice to voice, where they can feel your energy, where they can feel the spark behind you and how much you care about making whatever it is and what you're gonna bring to the table. That is where the magic happens. So this growth hack that created the likes of Dropbox and Airbnb and Stripe and these billion-dollar unicorn companies, those principles apply to whatever business you're in. And you are going to learn so much. You're going to get instantaneous feedback. You are going to convert so much more, and you are going to find your way to that 100 raving fans much faster doing it that way. So whatever it is that you're doing, I want you to try that. I want you to tap into your network and see what happens. I think it's going to be powerful for you, and I'm excited to hear what you think. So if you got value out of this, I would love for you to do a couple things. Please share this video. I would be super grateful. That helps us to spread our reach and to grow more. If you are serious about this, we have a tool that will help you in a huge way. Send us a message or put tool in the comments. I'd be happy to share with you more about that. You can use it completely for free. And thank you for coming and hanging out with me today and watching. I so appreciate you. Have a great day. I will talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.